Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. The NFL never fails to deliver moments that leave fans breathless. And Sunday night's matchup between the Washington Commanders and the Denver Broncos was no exception. While the Commanders entered the game as an underdog, few expected them to push one of the NFC West top teams all the way to overtime. But that is exactly what happened. Washington came into the game showing signs of life, gradually getting healthier and starting to build momentum after a rocky start to the season. On a night where much of the drama unfolded in the final minutes, there was one play that managed to grab the attention of the entire football world, transcending the final score and etching itself into highlight reels instantly. That moment came courtesy of recently signed wide receiver Trayon Burks, who, with a single, spectacular catch, reminded the NFL and its fans why the sport is filled with moments of pure artistry. Trayon Burks' touchdown was, without exaggeration, one of the most visually stunning one-handed grabs in recent memory. The play took place in the third quarter, a period often overlooked in highlight recaps, yet Burks' catch was impossible to ignore. With the ball seemingly just out of reach, Burks stretched every muscle, extended his arm, and somehow, miraculously, snatched the football out of the air while maintaining control and bringing it into the end zone. The mechanics, timing, and sheer athleticism of the play drew immediate comparisons to a moment that is forever etched in NFL history: Odell Beckham Jr.'s iconic one-handed touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys in 2014. The similarities were uncanny, down to the jersey number, as both Burks and Beckham were wearing number 13 during their respective plays. A coincidence that only added fuel to the excitement and conversation across social media. As the NFL community watched in awe, Beckham Jr. himself did not hold back, shimming in on social media to give Burks the ultimate seal of approval. For a player of Beckham's stature to acknowledge a young receiver in such a manner is more than just a compliment. It is a nod to Burks' potential, a signal to the league that despite a slow start, this is a player capable of creating highlight reel moments that fans will remember for years. It is a rare moment where the past and present collide, a connection between two generations of wide receivers that makes the game feel alive and electric. For Burks, who has yet to fully establish himself with the Commanders after a tumultuous start to his career, this was not only a confidence booster but a statement. He is here to compete, he is here to shine, and when the opportunity presents itself, he can deliver the kind of moments that define games, seasons, and careers. Trayon Burks' early career has been marked by both promise and setbacks. Drafted with high expectations by the Tennessee Titans, his trajectory has been hampered by injuries that have limited his ability to consistently show his full potential. Since joining the Commanders, Burks has struggled to find rhythm and consistency, managing only 5 catches on 8 targets for 77 yards and that lone touchdown in the first 3 games of the season. Statistically, these numbers might not jump off the page, but in context, they tell a story of a player who is still finding his place, still adjusting to a new team, new playbook, and new environment. In that light, Sunday night's performance was less about cumulative stats and more about a single, transcendent moment that could signal the turning point of his campaign. The catch itself also raised larger questions about the evolution of the Commanders' offense and how Burks fits into the larger scheme. Washington has been gradually getting healthier, with several key players returning from injury and the team slowly regaining the kind of depth that makes executing a diverse offensive game plan possible. With quarterback Jayden Daniels trending toward a return before the end of the regular season, there is an opportunity for the wide receiver room to become more integrated, more dynamic, and more dangerous. If Burks can build on Sunday's highlight and start to consistently contribute in meaningful ways, he could emerge as a central piece of a resurgent Commanders offense, one that has already shown flashes of competitiveness even against top-tier opponents. The combination of talent returning from injury, an energized receiving corps, and a quarterback in the process of reclaiming rhythm could create the perfect storm for Burks to finally ignite, and the NFL world will undoubtedly be watching closely. Meanwhile, the involvement of Odell Beckham Jr. in the narrative adds yet another layer of intrigue. OBJ has recently had his suspension lifted by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell after serving time for violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. Beckham Jr. was a free agent at the time, having completed his suspension after playing with the Miami Dolphins in 2024. and he is now navigating the complex market for veteran wide receivers. Teams seeking depth and playmaking ability at the position are likely monitoring his situation closely. And for a player of his caliber to publicly acknowledge a young receiver like Burks is telling. It reinforces the notion that the NFL is a league where talent and timing intersect in unpredictable ways, where one player's journey can inspire and legitimize another's, and where a single catch can trigger a wave of recognition that transcends team boundaries and competitive rivalries. The broader context of the game cannot be ignored either. While Burks' catch was the headline, the Commanders' performance against the Broncos demonstrated a team that refuses to be underestimated. Pushing one of the league's best defenses to overtime requires grit, discipline, and moments of individual brilliance, all of which were on display. Despite ultimately falling short, Washington's trajectory appears promising. The offense showed sparks of creativity. The defense held strong in critical moments, and special teams contributed to the overall momentum. In this sense, Burks' catch was emblematic of a team effort, a moment of individual heroism that mirrored the larger narrative of a franchise, striving to redefine itself, reclaim confidence, and build towards something greater. In reflecting on Burks' catch, it becomes clear that NFL moments like these are about more than statistics or wins and losses. They are about narrative, emotion, and the shared experience of fans who witnessed the improbable made real. A one-handed grab in the third quarter might not decide the outcome of a game, but it can influence the psyche of a team, the confidence of a player, and the conversation across the league. For Burks, it is a defining moment, one that could serve as a catalyst for the rest of his season and possibly for his career. It reminds us all why we watch football, for the flashes of brilliance that make us jump off our seats, that make social media explode, and that remind us that athletic excellence can transcend time, linking past legends to emerging stars in a way that feels almost mythical. Trayon Burks is still carving his path, and while the numbers suggest a slow start, the impact of one play can never be underestimated. With a team trending upward, returning players, a quarterback poised to return, and an iconic veteran like OBJ publicly showing approval, the pieces are aligning for a breakout moment. As fans, we are left to wonder, is this the beginning of a new chapter for Burks? Can he consistently deliver the type of highlight plays that capture the imagination, as he did on Sunday night? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, for that fleeting, unforgettable instant when he extended his hand and snatched the football, Trayon Burks reminded the NFL and its fans that moments of pure magic are still very much alive in the sport. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Whispers around the league have been growing louder, and now it seems the rumors are more than just idle chatter. They're turning into a full-blown shockwave that's shaking the NFL world to its core. Picture this, a city that has worshipped a player for over a decade, a team that has leaned on a cornerstone through every triumph, every heartbreak, every playoff run, and suddenly, that cornerstone decides to pick up his bags and walk away from the familiar, from the team that made him a legend. That's right. The whispers you've been hearing about Jason Kelce, they were true. Philly is in chaos. Fans are scrambling through social media with disbelief, and the internet is lit up with a mix of outrage, sadness, and for a few, a grudging acknowledgement of the audacity of the move. Kelce, the very definition of a franchise icon, has unretired in a move that no one could have fully predicted and has chosen to line up in the burgundy and gold. Yes, you heard that correctly. Jason Kelce, the heart and soul of the Philadelphia offensive line for years, is now donning the uniform of the Washington Commanders, and Philly, well, Philly is not taking it well. The rumors started, as they always do, in hushed tones at training facilities, in passing remarks on sports radio shows, and in the quieter corners of the locker room grapevine. Some thought it was just chatter, the kind of speculation that fills the gaps when the offseason drags on and fans crave drama. But insiders hinting at a serious meeting between Kelce and Washington executives turned that murmur into a crescendo. People close to the situation describe Kelce as being increasingly restless. During his initial retirement, there was a spark missing, a competitive itch that just wouldn't quit, and the Commanders apparently recognized it. Sources say that the negotiations were conducted with a mix of subtlety and urgency. The Commanders were reportedly offering more than just a contract. They promised a platform, leadership opportunities, and a chance to redefine the offensive line for a team looking to make a real statement in the NFC. It wasn't just about money, it was about influence. About legacy in a new chapter, about being part of a project that could become something historically significant. Meanwhile, back in Philadelphia, the reaction has been nothing short of apocalyptic. Local bars are buzzing with incredulous fans. Social media feeds are exploding with memes, angry posts, and heartfelt tributes to the man who became a symbol of toughness and loyalty. Kelce's name is trending worldwide, and it's not just about admiration, it's about betrayal, plain and simple. Commentators are dissecting every angle. How could he leave the Eagles? What does this mean for the locker room culture he helped build? Will his departure create a ripple effect, encouraging other players to reconsider their own commitments? Some fans are heartbroken, wearing their Kelce jerseys in defiance, while others are taking the forums to debate whether admiration for an athlete should survive professional decisions. The discussion is intense, emotional, and unrelenting. Because for Philadelphia, Kelce wasn't just a player, he was a symbol, a man who epitomized grit, work ethic, and unshakable loyalty. The timing of the move has only added to the drama. Off-season whispers suggested he was contemplating a return, but no one expected a choice that would feel like a betrayal of the highest order. Sources close to the player say that Kelce took his time weighing options, reflecting deeply on what retirement had offered him, and what unfinished business he still craved on the gridiron. The Commanders' offer came at the perfect moment, aligning with both his competitive hunger and his desire to lead in a new environment. Insiders suggest that this wasn't a rash decision. It was methodically planned, carefully executed, and meant to send a statement to the league. Jason Kelce isn't just back, he's back with intent. In a city where the spotlight is harsh and the pressure to perform is monumental, the narrative practically writes itself. A legendary player leaves the nest, steps into uncharted territory, and immediately becomes the center of a storm of speculation, excitement, and inevitable controversy. Already, pundits and analysts are drawing comparisons to some of the most jaw-dropping moves in NFL history. Kelce to Washington is being tossed around in the same breath as the most sensational trades, free agency surprises, and shock retirements that ended up rewriting expectations for teams. Social media is a battlefield. Eagles fans are alternating between nostalgia and outrage. Commanders supporters are in celebration mode, and neutrals are just reveling in the story unfolding in real time. Every angle is being dissected: the salary cap implications, the leadership vacuum in Philadelphia, the strategic boost for Washington, and the psychological warfare that this might spark across the league. Kelce is no longer just a player, he is a narrative force. The kind of personality who turns simple roster changes into cultural events. And the ripple effect is far from over. The media is teeming with speculations about how the Eagles will fill the void, who might step up, and whether this departure could trigger a domino effect across the NFL's veteran offensive lineman market. Rumors suggest that the locker rooms on both sides have been buzzing with tension. In Philadelphia, teammates are reportedly struggling to process the news, caught between respecting Kelce's legacy and feeling the sting of what feels like abandonment. Meanwhile, Washington players are said to be exhilarated, inspired by the arrival of a player who brings championship experience, charisma, and unmatched leadership. Coaches on both sides are suddenly tasked with navigating not just tactical adjustments, but the emotional undercurrents that accompany such a seismic move. The storytelling practically writes itself. The hero of one city becomes the wild card in another, instantly transforming matchups and adding layers of drama to an already unpredictable league. Analysts are weighing every scenario, from Kelce's potential role on the field to his impact on team culture, while fans continue to fuel the frenzy online with hashtags, reaction videos, and opinion pieces that read like open letters to the player himself. Some insiders hint that this move could redefine what players consider retirement. Kelce is a figure who blends charisma with intelligence, someone who understands the business side of football as much as the craft itself. By stepping away from Philadelphia and into Washington, he is sending a signal. Loyalty is complicated, career arcs are fluid, and personal ambition can outweigh hometown allegiance. Even for someone as iconic as Kelce, sports media has been dissecting the philosophical implications. Debates rage about ethics, legacy, and personal choice. Some see a masterstroke of career management, while others see a betrayal that cuts to the core of Philly pride. One thing is clear: this is more than a transaction. It is a story, a human drama, a real-life soap opera played out on the most public stage imaginable, with fans emotionally invested like never before. Meanwhile, the Commanders' organization has been tight-lipped, carefully curating the narrative without confirming every leak, which only intensifies the suspense. Rumors of Kelce hosting team meetings, mentoring young linemen, and being a vocal presence in the locker room are circulating, painting a picture of a player who intends to transform the franchise, not just pad stats or chase a paycheck. Observers suggest that his influence could stretch beyond the offensive line, shaping strategy, team culture, and perhaps even the front office approach to roster building. In Philadelphia, the void he leaves is glaring. Fans, commentators, and former teammates are left to wrestle with the implications of a city losing not just a player, but a symbol. Someone whose name was synonymous with pride, resilience, and identity. And let's not forget the spectacle of the reaction itself. Twitter threads, TikTok compilations, YouTube reaction videos, they're all exploding. Every sports network is clamoring for interviews, commentary, and analysis. Fans are split between outrage and admiration, creating a social media tempest that mirrors the shock felt in stadiums and living rooms across the country. Some are even drawing parallels to cinematic betrayals, likening Kelce's move to a plot twist worthy of a blockbuster movie. Analysts are dissecting his potential impact on Washington's playoff prospects, while fans debate whether Philly will ever fully recover from losing one of its most beloved athletes. Every headline, every post, every discussion thread seems to circle back to one central question: why now? Why Washington? And what does this mean for the legacy of Jason Kelce, a man who has now entered uncharted territory, carrying both the weight of his past and the high expectations of his new chapter? The buzz isn't dying down anytime soon. Rumors of Kelce's impact on the NFC East, the ripple effect on upcoming drafts, and even the possibility of sparking other high-profile moves are all in play. Philadelphia is reeling, Washington is celebrating, and the rest of the league is watching with a mixture of awe and anticipation. This isn't just a signing, it's a seismic shift in the NFL landscape, the kind of move that will be dissected for years to come. And for Jason Kelce himself, the journey has only just begun, leaving the comfort of a city that adored him, stepping into a new environment filled with expectation, and proving that greatness isn't tied to one place, it's tied to the player. And as the whispers turn into headlines, the headlines turn into debates, and the debates fuel the frenzy. One thing is undeniable: the NFL has a new storyline, and Jason Kelce is at its center, in burgundy and gold, ready to make a mark that will reverberate far beyond Philly's city limits. The narrative is alive, the drama is real, and the fans, whether in Philly, D.C., or anywhere else, are watching history in motion, wondering how the next chapter will unfold, and bracing themselves for every twist, turn, and revelation that comes with the unretirement of one of football's most iconic figures. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.